Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another video, and in this one I want to do something a little bit different. I want to actually talk about how I became an artist, my sort of story on how I came to decide to want to be an artist and the kind of journey to making that decision and to becoming a full-time artist, and how I went from deciding that to actually doing quite well at being an artist. And whilst I discuss that sort of journey, I'm doing another YouTube artist collective piece. So we do these every 2 or 3 months, and so it's with a group of other girls from the kind of YouTube world who are artists, and we all come together. We do the same theme, we do pieces of art that revolve around that theme. This month's theme was cards, like tarot cards, anything related to cards, and so I went for a slightly different approach, and I went for basically the tarot card to do with stars, the moon, the universe, all of that sort of stuff, and I kind of created a piece based around that. A lot of the other girls did things with like actual cards or made their artwork into like a cool card itself, so I really recommend checking out their stuff. But I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for this theme, so this is what I came up with. Let me know what you guys think of it. It's something different from my usual styles. I say styles because I don't really have one style, but I liked it. I like how it turned out, and I hope you guys enjoy watching me create it as well. And so I will leave a link to all of the other amazing girls' channels in the description, and I really recommend that you go and check them out as well. They have created some beautiful things. I've already seen quite a lot of them, and they are absolutely amazing. So let's get into today's topic, and I'm just going to be discussing my journey from when I started my YouTube channel and how I decided to go from creating a channel to actually using that channel to create a full-time living for myself. So I started my channel when I was 17. I was in the last year of school. I was in like sixth form, so I was 17 years old. I was applying to uni and everything when I started my channel. So I was actually not doing anything whatsoever related to art. I wasn't taking art for A-level. I just took it for GCSE, and even then it was like my worst subjects in terms of performance-wise. And so when I was doing my A-levels, I picked maths, chemistry, and biology. So extremely different, and I enjoyed all 3 of those subjects. They were my favourite subjects, and I was really good at them. I got the best grades in my year, and so I was going to a really good university for biomedical science. Completely different to art, not related whatsoever. Art wasn't even a thought in my head as to something that I wanted to do as a career, and so it seems very weird now calling myself a full-time artist when before, like a few years ago, it wasn't even a thought. So I was doing my A-levels. I started my channel when I was 17. I started it just doing like speed drawings. If you go back to my early videos, it wasn't anything particularly interesting. It was just me doing speed drawings of like fan art and stuff. And I did a few little tutorial videos at the start, and I realized that they got a bit more sort of attention, a bit more sort of more views, and so they performed better. And so I then went to uni. I went to quite a good uni, and I was doing the course. I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't enjoy it at all. I realized that I was just doing it because I was like good at it, not because I actually had a passion for it. And even though I was sort of interested, I wasn't interested in it enough to want to do it like as a career. When you're at uni, you have to like immerse yourself in it. You're doing a lot of hours on that one thing for your course, especially as science. It's very work intensive. And so if you don't enjoy it, it becomes very apparent, and it's very hard to keep up with. And so I knew very early on that I hated it. I was miserable. I was crying quite a lot of the time. And so I really was starting to think very early on what I actually wanted to do. I wasn't the kind of person that liked to quit, and I wanted to kind of keep up with it, but I also knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. And did I really want to waste a lot of time doing something that I knew I didn't want to do as a career? And so I did feel quite worried because I've always excelled in everything that I did. I was always good at school. I always wanted to make everyone proud. And so feeling like I wanted to quit and not do it anymore made me worried because I didn't know what people would think. And so I only was at uni for about 2 or 3 months, like the first term, and I came home for Christmas and I kind of like talked to my parents. I told them how I was feeling. They didn't realize I was so kind of upset because I kept it all bottled in. I just wanted to stick it out and see how it went. I also talked to my now fiance, and they were all really supportive, and they just was talking to me about it and asking me what I wanted to do. And at that point, I didn't really know. I knew that I was enjoying art. At this point, I'd been doing my channel for about a year. I had about 1,000 subscribers. I wasn't doing it regularly, but I knew that it was something in my mind as to what I wanted to do. And so at that point, it was Christmas. I decided that I wanted to quit university, and I said I actually want to try and do being an artist full time. It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to try and push my channel, create a living, create an audience, grow my audience, and all of that sort of stuff. So I quit uni and I actually moved back home, and I decided that I wanted to do art full time. But obviously I had 1,000 subscribers. I wasn't making any money from it, and I still needed to build up that audience. So I needed to get a job, and what I was actually doing at the time is I was working on a commission for my school. I did a piece of artwork. They commissioned me to do a piece of art for the school itself, and so when I went to give it to them, they actually offered me a job because I was really good at maths. I was given the job to be the maths intervention tutor for the kind of GCSE 15, 16-year-old students. And so I did that for about a year. I was growing my channel at the same time. Basically, I would do my tuition, I would go to work there, and I'd come back and I would work really late on my channel, creating videos, creating artwork, all of that sort of stuff. So I worked there until about 6-7 months ago. And so I did that quite a lot. I really enjoyed it. I really liked teaching. It was kind of something that I like to do. I was quite good at that as well. And so I was deciding, do I want to do art or do I want to do that? At this point, I still wasn't making much. So I was unsure whether I could, push myself to make it so soon as an artist. So I was thinking, do I need to go back to university to do something else? But then about 7 months ago, obviously I was doing a lot more tutorials because I knew they worked. They were doing really, really well on my channel. And about 7 months ago, I did a video, which was the do's and don'ts for a face. And everything literally took off. If you were to look at like my social blade, you'll see since then, everything has gone up. I've been growing a lot. And also at that point, I introduced Patreon. And so that has been absolutely amazing for me. My supporters over on there really have changed everything for me. So 7 months ago, I quit my job, my other job, and I was like, okay, I've got enough. I'm earning enough a month to do this full time now. And so every minute of every day, it's all I do. I make videos, I make art. And now I'm starting to think about how am I going to grow it into a bigger and bigger business, because at the moment I'm doing really well. I do well off YouTube and I do Patreon. And so I'm gaining a following on there, but I also want to think about courses, ebooks, selling more merchandise. And so it's something that you got to keep thinking about how you're going to make sure it's sustainable and keep building it up. And so, yeah, that's basically how I did it. I always knew that I could make it as an artist, but it was all about time. If I didn't have those videos do really well about 7 months ago, I might still be growing quite slowly. But it seems because those videos popped and they did really well, everything has kind of been at that same level since then. It hasn't dipped down in views back to where it was. And so I kept looking to see what worked, and I kept kind of repeating the results. So I would look at the formula, I would look at what videos were getting the most engagement, what people were finding the most useful, and I'd do more of those sorts of things, like those more tutorials around portraits and stuff. And so the main thing that I want you guys to get out of this is that even if you think you're kind of meant to be doing something and you've got a path that a lot of people want you to go down, say your teachers or your parents, and you feel like that's the safe option, if you have something you're really passionate about and you can really do well at, that you're really good at, then go for it. Especially if you're young, you have the time, and you'll always regret it if you don't actually go for it. So with this, it might not have worked out, but it did. And if I hadn't have done this, I would have probably still been miserable at uni doing something that I want to do. Whereas in reality, I could have been doing exactly what I do now, getting up every day, absolutely loving what I do, and earning a lot more money than probably a lot of people that were in my year, like doing uni, do now. So it doesn't mean because it's not the normal thing that everyone does that you can't be successful at it. In this time, everyone can be successful doing whatever they want because we have got the internet. It's a different time than when our parents or older generation grew up in, and everything's so much more different. And so you guys can do whatever you want to as long as you stick at it. But anyway, guys, that is basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you enjoy the final piece. You can get prints over on my Etsy. Link will be in the description as well. Let me know what you guys think of this artwork. Also, as I've been mentioning, my Patreon, basically what I do over on there is I create a lot of real-time tutorials based on realism, so for animals, portraits, in lots of mediums. So if you want to check that out, again, link will be at the end and in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.